Very good morning, Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Sai Satcharita Parayan. I am wishing you all a very happy Dattatreya Jayanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Sai Satcharita, the life and teachings of Shirdi Sai Baba. So today we will be doing the last chapter and we'll be completing this the Parayan, and we'll be doing the Samapti this afternoon. We will be online. Those who are interested, please join us for the prayers. Chapter 53, the Epitome. My obeisance to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Ganesh, to Shri Saraswati and Shri Guru Maharaj, to the family deity, to Shri Sita Ramachandra. My most humble obeisance, I bow in reverence to the most venerable Guru, Shri Sai Nath. Shri Sai is Brahman incarnate, an emperor paramount among the saints, and is renowned throughout the world as a Samarth Sadguru who inspires the mind. Surrendering to him single-mindedly, let us now worship his holy feet so that he who averts birth-death will remove our fear of worldly life. In the last chapter, it was promised that after first reviewing all the chapters, I will complete this book by writing an epitome summary. Though Hemad Pant said this, it did not come about so. Whatever he wrote, a summary of the book, or whether it was left out through forgetfulness, one does not know. But it is the rule everywhere that he who begins writing a book should himself complete it by giving an epitome. However, there are exceptions to a rule, and this is our experience here too. Nothing happens according to our wishes. It is Baba's wish which overpowers all. Hemad Pant suddenly passed away, making everyone most sorrowful. No one could think of anything, nor could the epitome be traced. It was difficult to find Anna Sahib's Dabolkar's writings. With great effort, his son Sri Gajanan searched for them and gave me whatever material was necessary. Thriftily in his habits as Anna Sahib was, he would not waste any scrap of paper, but work using them neatly and ingeniously. Such was his temperament. He would write a chapter on slips of paper and give the same to the printers. Unnecessary expense always pricked his conscience. Truly, nobody can compare with him. Moved by compassion, Hemad probably thought, poor lifeless bits of paper, how will these be uplifted unless used in the service of the great saint Shri Sai Baba? Such seem to have been the thoughts of Hemad, so that he collected the slips together and made them serve Baba. This appears to have been his noble purpose. Even the last chapter was written in the same way, on slips of paper. But even after much thought, the epitome could not be traced amongst them. The matter was related to Gajanan Rao and others, as also to Baba Sahib Tarkhad, the then treasurer of Shirdi Sansthan and editor of the Shri Sai Leela magazine. They all opined that an epitome must be there. Baba Sahib published this in Shri Sai Leela, setting a time limit for its writing. The limit expired, but the epitome did not appear. Hemad, that is Govind Rao, was a mine of virtues and was steeped in Vedanta. His language and expression in the book is truly blessed. The doings of the Sadguru's grace are simply marvelous. Many are the devotees of Shri Sai Sadguru. Among them, Hemad Pant is a gem of a poet. Only he, who is a wise Mahant, a great man like him, can write this epitome. And yet, the epitome would not appear from anywhere. This saddened my heart greatly. I prayed to Shri Sai Baba, who is Datta Guru himself, and entreated his mercy. I am a lowly, slow-witted creature without even a trace of learning. How will I, who knows nothing of writing verse, write this verse composition? And yet, for this, there is only one support. When Sri Datta Guru is favorably disposed, he can make even a fly lift the Meru mountain. Such is his great authority and power. Once again, I prayed to Sai Narayan, who is Lord Shankar himself, to have mercy on me and inspire my mind quickly to write the epitome. I do not have the power to write verse, but Sri Guru Raya knows the dullness of my mind. Therefore, making obeisance at his feet, I now proceed to write this epitome. This epitome, which is a part of this book, will be completed by Shri Sai, who is Gajanan himself. Magnificent, most marvelous in his grandeur is his grandeur, while I am but his instrument. The first chapter contains the invocation of divine and obeisance to Sri Gajanan, the remover of all impediments, the material cause of the world, and the ornament round the neck of Shankar Parvati. The powerful goddess of speech, with a great ingenuity of mind, who charms the world and grants all desires, to that Shri Saraswati an obeisance was made. To the family guru, relatives and other gurus, to the saints and the virtuous, who are incarnations of God Almighty, and to Sadguru, Sai Bhagavan, who is worthy of being surrendered to, being the secret treasure of moksha. To all these, obeisance was made. Thereafter, narrating the story of how the epidemic of cholera was totally eradicated by Baba by grinding wheat, the glorious power of Sai was described. So just to let you know, this whole chapter is only a summarization of what is the different chapters we have done so far in Baba's Poti. So today there will not be much explanation, but I will just continue reading so that we finish this Parayan. Chapter 2 states the purpose of the present work and describes the naming of Dabolkur as Hemad Panth, confuting of the argument that Guru is not necessary and how Hemad had Sai Darshan. How the command came from Sai's mouth for writing of this book and a full account of the Rohilla forms the content of the third chapter. There follows a detailed narration in the fourth chapter as to the reason for the appearance of on this earth of sadhus and saints, who are an adornment to God, the control of the universe. This chapter also has a description at length of how Sai, a Datta avatar and a veritable Kalpataru, first came to holy Shirdi. The fifth chapter deals with how Baba disappeared from the holy Shirdi only to reappear in the company of the wealthy Patil to the astonishment of all. How he moved about with Gangagir and other saints, and how he created a garden, himself carrying water for it on his head. There is an interesting narration in the sixth chapter of the great festival of Ram Navami about Bala Bua Kirtankar and of the renovation of the mosque. In the seventh chapter comes the narration of Baba's Samadhi and Khanda Yog, Dhoti Poti, his pretense about being a Hindu or a Muslim, and as also the incomprehensible mind of the saints. This chapter also describes Baba's dress, his conduct, his giving medicines to the suffering and the sufferings, his clay pipe, his caste, the dhuni, lighting up of the mosque and the temples, Baba's illness and his service by the devotees, which was an amazing spectacle. The leprosy of Bhagoji Shinde, the treating of Karpade's son suffering from plague, Nana Sahib Chandorkar's wish of visiting Pandharpur. All these are narrated by the learned Hemad Panth in this chapter. The eighth chapter has a happy narration of the unique importance of the human birth, a description of Baba's manner of collecting alms, by service to the saint, Baba's extraordinary way of taking meals. See, most important, you need to read this, go and listen to this lesson once again, or even you can go and read from the Poti. The eighth chapter has a happy narration of the unique importance of human birth. Why is this body given? What is the importance of this human birth? Not getting lost in the material worldly desires, or you want to enjoy your sensual pleasures. It's a very beautiful chapter. You must go and revisit or study from the Poti once again, so that little bit of knowledge can enter your being, and so that you will understand how to become dispassionate, detachment and discriminate while doing your duties to the T or serving the purpose of this human birth. And also how Baba, Tatya, Malsapati, all three slept in the mosque at night, and Baba's remarkable love, which was equal for both. The mutual and loving relationship between Kushalchand of Rahata village and Baba, who was a mind of peace and knowledge, all this is in the same chapter. The ninth chapter gives an account of the great repentance on disobeying Baba's orders on the part of the devotee Tatya Patil and a great Englishman. So disobeying a guru is again a great sin. You don't understand what the calamities can befall. We disrespect the Guru. We don't regard him. There is a very interesting lesson Baba has, in fact, not just in one chapter, in many chapters he has taught. How do you respect your Guruji? It is extremely important how you address him, how you speak with him. He is not some ordinary human being that you can call him by first name or address him however you feel like. It is extremely important to pay him the due respect. He is the Lord Almighty. He is Guru Sakshat Para Brahma. What does it mean? The Lord himself has manifested in that body. It's the essence. It is Guru Tattva. The Guru can take any body and appear in front of you. It is extremely important to revere the Guru, obey every word to the T. See, most important in all these chapters which Baba has taught us to, how do you, obey the command which your Guru gives you. Disobeying and disregarding him is not good. You don't understand. Not only in this life you're accruing the karma, but you're actually creating more karma for your future lives as well. Why do you need that? You need to be very humble. You need to listen to him. See, listening is a very important aspect in obeying the command of your Guru. You know why? Because the mind comes. The mind is going to talk to you dime a dozen. It's going to say nonsensical things about your master, in how it'll not even show you that you're disrespecting him in whatever capacity, or you're not even obeying his order. The mind is always going to instigate against your master. See, because that's the only bottleneck you have between you and attaining the God. Like my Krishna Guruji will teach, the Parabrahman, it's right in the palm of your hand, yet you don't understand. You're seeking what? Because the Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, then how do you attain the Parabrahma? It's very simple. When you have absolute faith, complete surrender, unconditional pure love, and exclusive devotion unto the lotus feet of your Hari Guru, that is Lord Shri Krishna and your Guru. When you have this absolute, faith in him and you completely surrender, then only can you attain that Parabrahma. The Parabrahma has to be pleased with you. But if you pay into your, self-conceit and deceit and not listen to him, not obey him, when he says, don't go there, it means you are not supposed to go there. But what does your mind say? Who is he to tell me? I will go there. This is not right. So please understand, there is no point in having a Guru if you want to continuously disregard him and disobey him. There are a lot of people in my Krishna Guruji's world, even I have, when I was initially on the path of spiritual, and even sometimes the mind comes. See, the mind is very dicey thing. So we have to do our sadhana. And how does the sadhana happens? Only when you have that absolute faith and surrender unto the lotus feet of your Guru, which means you have to train your mind to obey his command. It is not one-time job. You have to practice it time and again. Continuously you have to practice deep sadhana. And what is most important, like Lord Shri Krishna has said in Bhagavad Gita, which is extraordinary effort, arduous effort. It is not that, I listen today, then tomorrow I don't listen. Don't use your mind. You're only going to go into the gutters. Disobeying your Guru, disrespecting him, you are not going to go anywhere. Please remember this. This is not my words. Baba has taught this in this entire Satcharita. The same thing he keeps repeating over and over again so that it enters this dunce brain. Because not the mind. The mind doesn't want to understand. The mind doesn't want to listen. So you have to listen, not hear. Hear means you'll just take here and leave it in this ear. No, you have to listen, which means it embeds in your heart. Only then can you apply that lesson, and you need to cogitate. What is very important? Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasan. How do you do that? You have to first cogitate, you have to contemplate and meditate, and then go silent. Be silent. Don't talk. Make your mind to shut up. Don't talk simply. People just have a garrulous way of talking. Nonsensical thing. They know too much. Recently, my Krishna Guruji was saying something to someone. This person is only talking through their mind. They doesn't even want to listen. Whatever my Guruji said went bouncers. It didn't even enter. So you need to pay attention. Show humility and humbleness. You are nothing great. Please understand. My Guruji has put a very beautiful update on Facebook. He says, till the time you do not attain your enlightenment, you are still a failure in the spiritual world. Because the only time you can pass is when you have reached the destination. So what makes you think you have got some great knowledge, you know too much? Just because you attain something in your material world, you have some great MBA degrees from Harvard, from I don't know, wherever, right? Who cares about all the degree? That has no value. Please understand, that is only a material worldly thing. It's a piece of paper. Yeah, you'll get a job, you'll get paid. What use is it? Please understand, it is only the grace of the Guru or the Lord Almighty can even get you that. Or if you have your karma, you're anyways going to get that. So why run after things which is not going to give you anything? It is not going to give you the spiritual wheel. So focus in your spiritual, evolve and do something about your life. That is what Baba has taught. What is the purpose of this human birth? He has very beautifully explained. You must go and study once again that lesson so that you'll understand your own welfare. Nobody can come and walk the path for you. You have to put effort and you have to only walk yourself. So please use this opportunity to redeem yourself and redeem everybody associated with you. That is the highest good that you can ever do in this world. It also narrates very cleverly how Baba used to eat the food given in alms after first getting the Pancha Maha Yajna performed along with Baba's authority for collecting alms. And the excellent story of how Baba Sahib Tarkad, a staunch follower of the Prarthana Samaj, became Baba's steadfast devotee. Chapter 10 narrates about the greatest of yogis, that is Baba, sleeping on a wooden plank suspended from the roof, which was about 4 arms in length and the measure of the thumb and the little finger extended in width. As also a moving account as to when Baba first put his foot in Shirdi, how many years he stayed there, when he gave up the body, and about the steadfast, constant attitude of Guru Raya in guiding the people to the right path and showing ghoulish tendencies outwardly, while perfectly at peace and totally desireless within. Absolutely. The Guru is a desireless being. You know what? They are eternally free. They have nothing to covet, they have nothing to own. They will behave in a childish manner, in a ghoulish manner. It doesn't matter. You can judge him whatever you think you want to judge him. Please understand, he is the God Almighty. My Krishna Guruji is the Lord of the, master of this universe. He is the Lord Almighty. He is Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. But what do people look at him as? Some ordinary human being walking as a mere mortal. Don't even understand how great he is. And yet will disobey, disrespect, treat him like a very ordinary being. Please don't. Meeting such great master itself is a boon. You are very fortunate, for having the association with such a great guru. So value that. Don't disregard. What people do when the person is alive, they don't value them. When you have the presence of the guru, you don't want to learn. You want to waste time arguing, talking through your mind, getting into all the pity, whatever the muck that is filled in your mind. You want to just use that. Instead of learning, you want to just regress. You're not even bothered about your welfare. But in material world, people are just lost in fulfilling their own material worldly desires. But the association with the great guru is a boon. Use that to progress in your spiritual wheel. Yesterday's chapter, Baba beautifully mentioned how the guru crushes your ego. He beats the pulp out of you so that you can overcome all the tendency. What does it mean? It's not physically beating. What it means is when the guru teaches you in a certain way, he's beating the pulp out of your tendencies so that he can give you that spiritual wheel. He's such a desireless being. What do you think of him? When there is an association with great master, nobody wants to even adorn him. I was recently seeing, how people only give importance to the ochre clothes. They need to have a glamorous, a costume, and then they'll think, oh, he's God Almighty. No, a real master is not even going to show you that he's a real master, that he's somebody God. He doesn't even bother. He doesn't even, care for attention. He doesn't want people to know him. You know why? He is only seeking a true seeker who only cares about spiritual weal. He is not interested in people coming to him with a begging bowl. Guruji, my father is sick, my mother is sick, I want a child, I want a guru, I want a job, I don't know what all you come with. It's like a bottomless pit. They come with a big begging bowl. That is not what you need to go and ask your Guruji. Please remember, when such a master is there, go ask for your spiritual wheel. Grow in your spiritual wheel. Please remember, whatever you have or whatever you have to get based as per your karma, you will anyways get it. So why bother about it? And when you have the grace of the Guru, he will grant you that which is right for you at the God's appointed timing. So don't keep begging. Please remember, the purpose of human birth is to attain the spiritual weal, and most important is to do your swadharma, and that is what the Guru teaches. So use his time wisely. Don't waste his time. Don't come and ask him for petty things. I want a child. See, what is use is the child? Why do you need a child? Tell me. Today, the child will make your life miserable. I know somebody recently I met. This mother is such a blinded person. Her two sons are drunkard. And then she's still telling, oh, I have to go cook for my sons. I'm like, why don't you throw them out? Why are you, wasting your life on such a drunkard? She's like, you know what? Yeah, I kick them out. A week later, they will come back with tattered clothes and have not eaten food for 8 days. And then she will take them in again. What use is such kids? And you're asking for a child? See, if God has not given you a child, it is a blessing in disguise. Why don't you understand this? Don't ask for things that which you will put you in bondage. Redeem yourself. Be free. Be eternally free. The purpose of this human birth is to attain the spiritual weal. Free yourself, free everybody associated with you. This is the highest truth that you need to understand. And today Baba has put so much effort in teaching all of this to everybody. What does it mean? Leela, it's a play. What does play means? It's the in which all the truth is demonstrated. Through different stories, he is giving this truth. People think, there's some stories that they are reading. No, these are all codices. Only the true master can unravel the truth hidden in these words. That is why Lord Shri Krishna says, only Lord himself, God can teach you who God is, no other human beings. And please don't go run after this fake gurus in this world. There are dime a dozen. The more you get into, the more gutter you will go into. As also a moving account as to when Baba first put his foot in Shirdi, how many years he stayed there, when he gave up the body, and about the steadfast, constant attitude of Guru Raya in guiding the people to the right path and showing girlish tendencies outwardly while perfectly at peace and totally desireless within. This chapter also includes a description of the most remarkable skill of the Sadguru in explaining the characteristics of Dharma as explained in the Vedas and Shastras, his skill in imparting worldly and spiritual instruction and in testing the minds of both devotees and non-devotees. Please remember, in one of the chapters, Baba says, you don't come and test the Guru. Please know that. The great masters who understands who you are, actually they are the ones who's testing you by showing how ordinary mortal they are. And trying to see to what extent you can stoop down. Don't come and think that you are going to test my Guruji or some other great masters. Please, you know what? When you get such opportunity, focus on learning, not coming and trying to test them. Baba's seat, his knowledge, his personality, his authority as a Guru, his power and greatness, all this makes up the 10th chapter. Chapter 11 dwells on Baba's worldwide fame of being in a state of Satchidanand, the loving devotion of Dr. Pandit, a description of Siddiq Phalke's reverence for Baba, Baba's control over the menacing rain clouds and over the whirlwind, his protection to the devotees from the roaring fire, etc. It is in chapter 12 that a charming description of the various incidents relating to Kaka Mahajani, Dhumal, Nimonkar, a Mamlatdar and his friend, a doctor, occurs. Agnihotri Mule of Nasik, a man of doubting nature and a devotee of Golab Swami, as also the marvel of his Sai Darshan. This account also is given in this chapter. How Bala Shimpi's malaria was cured by feeding rice and curd to a black dog, and Bapu Sahib's cholera by giving him walnuts and pistachio is narrated in chapter 13. This chapter also deals with many stories such as the cure of the earache of the Swami from Alandi by mere blessings, that of the diarrhea of Kaka Mahajani by giving him peanuts. The stomachache of the devotee, Tattopan for Harda, by blessing him in front of all. The consumption of Bhimaji Patil by applying Udi. These are all given in this same chapter. Chapter 14 gives us the story of the famous merchant from Nanded, Sheth Ratnaji Parsi, who was sad at heart for want of a son and was made most happy by a gift of a son. As also the wonderful story of how everyone recognized Saint Mauli Sahib was working as a coolie by the sign given by Sai. Chapter 15 describes how Baba explained to Dasganu the style of Kirtan by Narad, how he made Cholkar bring tea with sugar, a fulfillment of his vow as also. How Baba narrated the story of the lizard that came from Aurangabad to meet his sister in the mosque merely from their chirping. The interesting story in chapter 16 is about how a gentleman with wealth, children, etc., on hearing Baba's fame, came to Shirdi to get Brahmanyana. Oh my God, Brahmanyana! Who couldn't even give 5 rupees as dakshina when Baba was asking. People want Brahmanyana. It comes free, I guess so. Yes. And people don't even have the courtesy to give Guru. They think this knowledge is coming just like that. And Baba has very beautifully explained in this why Guru Dakshina must be offered. My Krishna Guruji is great. There are some great devotees who have gone and told, oh my, he asks money. Oh my, I think the Gurus are sitting and asking money. They don't give a damn. Believe me, it is though they are the desireless being who don't even have a penny, yet they will grant you. What can you give the gardener and pluck some flowers from his own garden? This is exactly what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji has explained. What makes you think that you are giving him anything? You cannot give the Guru anything. Please remember this. Whatever he gives, he throws it back on you 1,000 more times. You think the Guru keeps anything? On the contrary, he's redeeming you. He's taking your karma. He's suffering for all your sins. So be grateful, you ungrateful creatures on this earth. How Baba narrated, the interesting story in chapter 16 is about how a gentleman with wealth, children, etc., on hearing Baba's fame came to Shirdi to get Brahmanyana and was told that he who desires Brahmanyana has first to renounce worldly life, giving up completely the hankering after wealth. And how, though the man had bundles of note in his pocket, would not lend even 5 rupees to Sai, yet expecting to get Brahmanyana. Such are the idiots in this world. The story is in the fascinating style of Sai's instruction joined with the blessed language of Hemad. In this chapter 16 is like adding sugar to milk. The same story continues in chapter 17, which is an interesting narration at length about Brahmanyana and giving of greed for wealth altogether. Chapter 18 has a skillful narration by Hemad Pant of the story of Sate's reading of Guru Charitra, the advice and instruction to Radha Bai Deshmukh and Baba's Anugraha to Hemad Pant. Chapter 19 tells us in great detail the story of this Anugraha and the deep thought and reflection on the instructions given by Shri Sai. Then follows the story in chapter 20 as to how Das Ganu started writing Ishavasya Bhavarth Bodhini and asked Baba the doubts that arose in his mind while writing, and how Baba told him that his doubts will be resolved by Kaka Dikshit's maid servant. Such is the sweet narration of Sadguru's unique power described here. The 21st chapter narrates the story of the bestowal of grace upon a righteous deputy collector on another learned man called Patankar and a third individual, a lawyer. The 22nd chapter describes how when Baba said to all that people that the Masjid Mai took her safely across the worldly life, that she was herself Dwaravati and Dwaraka. Not one of them understood the real significance of the words. Well, how can the mind can understand? Because the mind thinks it knows too much. First, you have to surrender your mind. You need to show humility and humbleness. You need to become submissive unto the lotus feet of the Guru, only for the knowledge, this word to, reveal itself to you. The Guru can give you knowledge, but if you cannot become the recipient of that knowledge, nothing will enter you. It will just appear some mere words. The truth of that words cannot shine. See, remember, the Guru means Guru is the remover of ignorance or illuminer of the knowledge. He illumines. The knowledge is within you. He's just removing the covers. He's unveiling that ignorance, right? The knowledge which is covered with ignorance. So what happens? The knowledge reveals itself. But since you cannot, imbibe, you need to show the patrata. You need to show, the spiritually deservability. Baba mentioned in previous chapter that you have to become spiritually deserving for this knowledge to enter you. Knowledge doesn't come, and most important, self-effort. If you think, just by being devoted, you're going to get this knowledge, no devotion can get you knowledge. First, you have to show that absolute faith in your Guru. Your effort is very important. Lord Shri Krishna says, first is you have to overcome your mind, ego, arrogance, the senses, body. You have to transcend the 3 gunas and even give up that knowledge, chuck that knowledge also. And then when you surrendered unto his lotus feet, then he gives you the devotion. That devotion is far superior than anything. And then with that devotion, he he grants you the knowledge as well. The knowledge about what is the truth in life. You don't even have to go and do anything. Most important, the bhakti. How devoted you are. How much effort are you putting in being devoted to the divine. We only go and ask, I want this, I want that, I want that. But do you even ask, Guruji, how are you? I want you. I love you. Have you ever expressed? No. You're all busy running the rat race. You don't care a damn. You don't care a damn about your Guruji or anything about him. You're only focused in running your rat race and satisfying, sense gratification. That is what you're seeking. Where is the question of the Lord there? Nobody asks the Lord. Nobody seeks, and that is why the word Krishna means secret, unknown. You cannot know him. You can call him Krishna, you can call him anything. He is never going to reveal to you. Please remember this. For him to show you, you need to become spiritually deserving. He is always going to test your deservability. How much you care about the God, or what do you care about in this world. That is the truth here Baba is also teaching. How Baba extolled the virtues of this masjid mine and averted the calamity of a snake bite to Mirikar and Bhutti. Cured Amir Shakkar's rheumatism, averting the danger of a snake bite to him too. And how Baba averted the danger of a scorpion bite to Hemad Pant and of a snake bite to others, thereby warding off the calamity of a premature death. Chapter 23 describes how the doubts of a student of yoga were resolved and Madhavrao snake bite cured, describing beautifully Baba's dhuni, the fuel for it, and the story of the killing of a goat. As also Baba's respectful treatment of Bade Baba, but the latter's lack of faith in the Guru's command and the greed of his discontented nature for more, however much he might get. Please go read this chapter again. You know why this is all recounted? To make you understand, your mind is like a dog's tail which doesn't want to straighten out. Once this pothi is finished, this satsang is over. We'll close the book, go back to the library and go back to our original base. No use of this knowledge. Even if you can apply 1%, one word of what is being taught here, your life will be. And that's exactly what Baba explained in yesterday's chapter. Go reread it. The steadfast faith of the great devotee Kaka Sahib Dikshit in his Guru's command and the marvelous Leela of the Sadguru. Chapter 24 contains an account of how Baba made an excuse of the parched gram to teach Hemad Pant that without remembering the Sadguru, one should not enjoy any sensual pleasures. You have to always first offer to your Guru, to the Lord, and then only partake of anything as prasad. But if you do not do this, then you are going to go into your own karma. Please remember. And of how Sai sparked off a quarrel between Anna Babre and Maushi Bhai, as the poet brings out the novelty of jokes and humor in these situations. In the 25th chapter comes the story of Damu Anna Kasar from Ahmednagar, who wished to trade in cotton and rice on a large scale, and how Sai, the son of knowledge, told him that he will incur a loss in such a trade, but that he will get a child if his wife eats a mango. The 26th chapter tells about a devotee called Pant who had taken Anugraha from another saint and was quickly given a mark of this by Baba to his great delight. In the same chapter is included the story of the devotee Harishchandra Pitale, whose epileptic son was cured of the disease merely by a glance of grace. That Pitale was given 3 rupees by Baba, who said that 2 rupees had been already given earlier and was told to keep them in the puja. Chapter 27 tells the story of Kaka Mahajani, who gave Bhagavad Pothi in Baba's hand with a great desire to get it back as a prasad, but instead Sai gave it to Madhavrao. And the story of how the Vishnu Sahasranam, which was among the Pothis of a Ramdasi, was given by Baba to Shamrao without the knowledge of the Ramdasi, and by giving the Vishnu Sahasranam, how that compassionate Sai bestowed grace on Shamrao. Chapter 28 dwells on how devotee Lakshmi Chand Munshi Chidi Bai from Barhanpur and the meritorious Brahmin Megha came to Baba's feet. How by appearing in a vision in their dream, Baba gave them the experience of its truth in a waking state. Thus described the incomprehensible Leela of Sadguru, the mother. In chapter 29, appeared the stories of bhajan singing group from Madras who had gathered at the sacred Shirdi to witness the grand spectacle of the munificence of Baba, who was the simple, guileless Lord Shankar. The astonishing manner in which Raghunath Tendulkar's son passed the examination Baba's marvelous Leela in removing Tendulkar's worry about his pension. This chapter, Raghunath Rao Tendulkar, is my great Guruji's great-grandfather, and Babu is his grandfather's brother, who is also his grandfather. So there's a very beautiful story about his great-grandparents. Please go read it. I'm very, very pleased that I'm associated with such a great divine being. It gives me absolute joy in reading about such a great family. How devotee Dr. Hate, who was Baba's loving devotee, was given darshan in a dream at dawn in an interesting account of these. The 30th chapter contains the stories of one Kakaji Vaidya, a devotee of the goddess Saptashringi. The vision of that goddess gave him, saying he should see Sai, the chief among the saints. And how Shamrao, who had made a vow to that same goddess, went to Vani after 30 years to fulfill that vow. And also the stories of Sheth Kushal Chand of Rahata and Ramlal, the Punjabi Brahmin, in whose dreams Shri Sai went to say, "Come to Shirdi." In chapter 31, we are told how the sannyasin Vijayanand set out from Madras to go to Manas Sarovar, but was made to stay back by Shri Sai, who is Shri Krishna himself. How the great devotee Mankar, who was like the black bee in the lotus feet of Sai, and also the fierce cruel tiger, were both uplifted. Chapter 32 quotes Sai's words that we four virtuous people wandered around in the forest in search of God, and when I had given up my ego completely, Guru Raya gave me darshan. This is a story about how Baba meets his Guru. And what does Baba say here? When I gave up my ego completely, does anybody's ego go away? You need to understand one very beautiful thing that happens when you come in the presence of the great Guru. When you come in the presence of this great master, you might portray whatever, that you're some great Sati Savitri, you're such a nice Harishchandra, you're so good, all that. But the moment you come and stand in front of the Guru, the real master, you become naked. Naked is not physical. All your tendencies come forth. That is what the Guru does. And you cannot hide it inside by portraying who you are not. And this is a very beautiful story, how Baba met his Guru, how he served his master, what are the things he did, how much effort he put in attaining the spiritual wheel. See, nobody gets it easy. And you need to understand that these leelas are narrated so that we also put effort. Nothing is going to come on a platter. Please remember, till you don't put effort, you will not get anything. No spiritual wheel will come to you. Even devotion means what? You just say, I am devoted to Krishna. Krishna means devoted. Is it? No. How do you be devoted? Go read the stories of great saints like Mirabai, Tukaram, Shivaji Maharaj, or even Kabir. You should go read their stories and how did they become the great devotees of Lord Shri Krishna. It is not so easy just saying, blabbering to glory, I am a devotee, oh, I am the greatest devotee. Oh, really? You don't show that. You have to, it's one-on-one. You have to experience, to each his own. How deep can you go? How much devotion do you have? Devotion cannot be measured, because the Lord is Athanga Sagar. He's a limitless ocean. His love is limitless. Can you ever stand to that? No. Why is Radha Rani the greatest devotee of the Lord? Because she could see Lord Shri Krishna and everything. She became one with him. She couldn't see anything else. Her mind, body, senses, everything, her entire being was filled with Lord Shri Krishna alone. It is an example to tell you that this is a Leela of Lord Shri Krishna himself. Radha Rani is none other than Lord Shri Krishna himself. So he demonstrates how to be devoted to the Lord. This is all an example. This is all the story. They perform leelas so that they can impart this knowledge to their devotees and true disciples, not to any other being on this world. So be that true devotee and a disciple and evolve on that path of bhakti. This story, along with another narrated by Sai, and the story of Golak Clay Bai, who went on a fast, are narrated in this chapter by Hemad, who sings about their novelty. Chapter 33 comprises the stories of a friend of Narayan, Jani, who was suddenly bitten by a scorpion, of the daughter of another devotee who was plagued by fever, about the daughter of Chandorkar harassed by labor pains, who, when no one could think of anything to relieve her pains, became very sad at heart, about the great devotee Kulkarni Sahib and Bala Bua, the bhajan singer, all of whom realized the great impact of Baba's Udi, And lastly, the charming and instructive tale of the Dakshina given by the devotee Haribua Karnik, who was very devout and trusting. The 34th chapter narrates the stories of a nephew of a doctor from Malegaon who was suffering from a bone tumor of the staunch devotee Dr. Pillai, who was severely afflicted by the guinea worms. The story of Bapaji of Shirdi, whose wife suffered the pain of bubonic plague, of a small Irani child suffering from fits. A gentleman from Harda, seriously ill with kidney stones, and the wife of a Kayastha Prabhu gentleman from Bombay, who was troubled by a difficult delivery. In all the above mentioned stories of chapter 34, it has been narrated in an interesting manner how these afflictions were instantly and totally removed merely by touch of Baba's Udi. In chapter 35 follows an account of how a friend of Mahajani who believed in worshipping the formless turned an idol worshipper on taking Baba's darshan. How a solicitor from Bombay, Dharamshi Jetabai Thakar, was given by the Guru were grapes transformed from the seeded to seedless variety. A Kayastha gentleman from Bandra who could not sleep peacefully, and Bala Patil of Nevasa, how they both experienced the curative effect of the Udi. The 36th chapter is about two gentlemen from Gomantaka who had made vows separately, one for a job, the other for tracing a robbery. How they both forgot about their vows and were reminded of them by Sai Samar, who knows past, present and the future, pervades the Brahmand, and whose greatness is indescribable. Please remember, the greatness of the Guru is you can never ever describe. It's indescribable. No words can ever describe his greatness. And he's all pervading. And the story of Sakaram, Aurangabadkar's wife, who rushed to Sai's feet to pray for a son, and how Sai gave her a coconut and her wish was fulfilled. The 37th chapter charmingly describes the spectacle of the Chavdi ceremony, which is rarely to be seen anywhere, but which Hemad had seen with his own eyes. This is followed by chapter 38, which contains a most interesting account of handi to prepare various sweet dishes that were served by Baba to all as prasad. In chapter 39 comes the exposition of the stanza from the Gita beginning, "Learn that by humble reverence," etc., that Baba gave to Chandorkar to remove his conceit about his knowledge of Sanskrit language. Only when you go, this is what Lord Shri Krishna has taught in Bhagavad Gita, learn that by humble reverence. What does it mean? When you go to the real master, you have to show your humility. When you become submissive and ask him the questions with absolute, with absolute seeking, that how sincerely you are seeking, with devotion, when you ask questions. The wise, the great gurus will guide you in the path of that knowledge. They will show you that path, they will give you that knowledge, they will take you towards the path of realizing the truth. This is what Lord Shri Krishna has said. So learn that by humble reverence. You have to be first humble and you have to revere your master, not with arrogance. Oh, I know. Many of us, when you come to your Guruji, you think you know too much. The mouth opens. I know, Guruji, I know this, I know. We all say, I know. Until the day, it's my own story, when I met my Guruji in early days, the first thing is, I want to become the greatest student of yours. I want to become the greatest devotee of yours. I want to get all the knowledge. You know what? My Guruji never even started my spiritual journey until 2014. I met him in 2009. But till 2014, he never even taught me. Why? Because it was my ego. You cannot learn with ego. And that, when he actually revealed, I've not even started your studies yet. Your education is still, I've held, because your ego is so strong. Till your ego is not destroyed, you cannot journey this path. And that day, he crushed my ego under his feet. And then he gave me the most beautiful text, which is Gurudev taught him. And he taught me. And that is when the knowledge started opening. And it's not overnight, you have to evolve. This learning is to eternity, not just this life. We continue to learn to eternity. So always learn, always seek this truth. There is nothing else for you to seek. What has to come to you will anyways come to you. Why run after things that is not going to give you any contentment or the peace in life. It's not the peace that we are talking about. It is that blissful state, which is either you don't get swayed between good, bad, happy, sad. Nothing happens. Nothing affects you. You just will stay in that state of Sachidanand. That is what you have to aim to attain. But first, destroying your ego is very important. And the vision in which Sai, the king among the saints, appeared to Bapu Sahib Bhutti, commanding him to build the temple. Chapter 40 narrates the story of how Dio wrote to Baba to invite him for the Udyapan of his mother's vows, when he was going to feed the Brahmins. How 3 honorable individuals dressed as sannyasins came on that day and went away after having their meal with the Brahmins, and yet Dio did not recognize the Guru's Leela in this. You need to have the eyes to recognize the master when he arrives. Do you have the eyes? That's exactly one of my Krishna Guruji was talking to someone that day, and he said, Baba can don any form and come, but can you recognize him? Because we have a fixated view that he has to look exactly like this. Somebody has described Lord Shri Krishna as having a flute, having this blue color. He's like a blue colored being. Actually, his color is not blue. His is the gray. He's gray. He's neither, it's a mixture of both white and black, and that's gray. He's always in the center. He's in the gray zone. But what do people think? People have described, who has given this image of Lord Shri Krishna? Somebody's mind. So, have you really seen God in reality? No. Then how can you recognize him? So you need to first seek the grace to recognize the divine beings. God will reveal himself when he's pleased with your search, when he's pleased with your devotion to him. But if you don't show that, and superficial, only surface level, to say I am a devotee of Shri Krishna, I am a devotee of Krishna, nothing works. The truth has to come from within. So you have to realize him from within, not outside. And when you realize from within, you will be able to see God in everybody. This is what Lord Shri Krishna has taught in Bhagavad Gita. The day he says to Arjuna, first you will see me within you, and then later you will be able to see this entire creation in me. What does it mean? That means that God lives within everybody. You have to see God in everybody. And this entire creation has come from Lord alone. Please remember this. So see God in everybody. See goodness. Be good. Show love. That is how you will realize the divine. And also the story of how, after appearing in a vision to Hemad, Baba came to a meal as promised, but in the form of a bas relief, continuing the same story of the bas relief in chapter 41. The poet describes at length to the devotees, in his charming style, the incomprehensible power of the Sadguru, and also how Sai appeared like Rudra when he became red as the glowing embers with anger and showered abuses on Dio. How Sai Shri Hari also told him in a dream to read Shri Jnaneshwari every day as a rule, explaining the proper method of reading it. Chapter 42 tells us about the prior hint given by Sai about his Nidhan, how the death of Ramachandra and of Tatya was averted. Then the sacred account of Sai Sadguru's Niryan, which makes the listener sad and agitates Hemad's mind. In the next 2 chapters, 43 and 44, Hemad completes without a doubt the account of Baba's Niryan, which had remained incomplete in the previous chapter. In chapter 45, we have an account of how Kaka Sahib Dikshit, when he was once reading Nath Bhagavat with Kaka Mahajani, and Madhavrao was assailed with doubts. And Madhavrav's explanation did not satisfy Dikshit's mind, but Anandrao Phakde resolved his doubt by narrating his dream. And also how Sai Samarth answered the question as to why Malsapati could not sleep on the plank suspended from the roof. All this had been told in a skillful narration. Chapter 46 describes Baba's marvelous leelas of wandering freely everywhere, though seated in his old place. He is going to Kashi Gaya in an unusual manner to show a miracle to the people. How Baba, a gem among the saints, permitted Shama to attend the marriage of Chandorkar's son, and at Gaya, Baba's photograph suddenly came before his eyes. And how Sai, the veritable Lord Shankar of the 3 eyes, narrated the story of the previous birth of the 2 goats. Such are the interesting, sweet and profound stories in these chapters. Similarly, in chapter 47, Sai, who was Brahma Vishnu Mahesh incarnate, narrates the past history of a frog and a snake, or rather of a greedy moneylender and his debtor. And this is more important because this talks about karma. How you are going to be eternally bound with people. So very profound chapter. You have to go and study this because it talks about how to not get into karmic loop with anyone. Stay away. To show through this nectar sweet story how one has to take a rebirth to atone for the sins of enmity, murder and death. Hemad has beautifully described this here. Chapter 48 deals with the stories of the staunch devotee, Shevade's law examination and the grace bestowed on Sapatnekar, who had no faith. Chapter 49 narrates the stories of Hari Kanoba from Bombay and the malicious-minded Swami Somdev who came to Shirdi with conceited minds to test the saint. I'm not going to explain again. Please go. I've really described this chapter. You must go listen or you can read yourself. You will understand the truth about what not to do and never to doubt your master. And how, on their taking darshan, Sai at once pronounced their inward thoughts to their instant inward abashment, drawing them to his feet and cleansing their sins of many births. This is the greatness of the real Guru. You know why he does this? So that he can redeem you. He understands you're a petty human being. You're unworthy, but his grace is on everybody. He doesn't see whether you're worthy or unworthy, but he only shows his goodness and greatness. That is why he is God Almighty. Similarly, how Chandorkar, who was sitting near Baba, was stirred by emotion on seeing the beauty of a lady. In chapter 50, Dabolkar has given at length the significance of the same stanza from Bhagavad Gita, which begins with, learn that by humble reverence, etc., supporting the exposition given by Baba. Chapter 51 describes how Hari, Sitaram, Dikshit, Devotee, Balram, Durandar and the lawyer from Nanded called Pundalik first came to Shirdi, and the extraordinary story of each of them, which will astonish the listeners and make the ocean of love in their hearts upsurge. In chapter 52, reviewing the foregoing chapters of the book, Hemad Pant asked for a pasayadan that may Baba destroy the wickedness of the wicked and protect the righteous. Very beautiful chapter is 52, where Hemad Pant seeks that which you have to seek. So make that as your prayer. And on this beautiful day today, being the Datta Jayanti, seek the grace of the Guru so that you can redeem yourself. And bowing at the Sadguru's feet with humility, offering his head and pen at his feet, Hemad completes the book, feeling fulfilled in the writing of it. In this way, Govind Raya completes the chapters of Shri Sai Satcharita, bowing lovingly at his feet. I make obeisance to Sadguru, the mother of this universe, like my Krishna Ma. He is the mother of this universe. He is such a compassionate being. For him, everyone is his child. There is no differentiation. But, your worldly mother will only look at in a very selfish manner. She has expectations, she has wants, she has all that. But this Guru is the greatest mother. What can you do for this Guru Ma? So do this. Show your reverence. Show your gratitude. And what did Baba say? Wear the ornament of indebtedness to eternity to your Guru. Because you can never repay what your Guru does for you. Please remember this. The narration, chapter by chapter of the summary of a book is called the Epitome, which becomes a true highway to moksha for the seekers who desire moksha. This epitome may be slighted as being a tone drag used for an ornamental border and end of a beautiful, rich shela. But the intelligent listeners should listen to the request of the servant just once. This book is not a shela, but rather a sweet, plump child to whom this Baal has boldly applied the black mark in the form of this epitome so that he may not suffer from an evil eye cast on him. The book is like delicious food, replete with the 6 juices or flavors, and the epitome is like a glass of buttermilk to help the digestion of the various dishes, that is the chapters. This book is the wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadhenu, with the chapters as her beautiful, well-proportioned parts. And this epitome is the necklace of black beads put round her neck to protect her from the influence of a malignant eye. And so I shall now narrate according to my understanding the arrangement of chapters as followed by Pant Hemad. May the listeners listen to it with respect. In the beginning came the praises of Sadguru, then follows the narration of Vedanta and Sai's Brahma Swarup. After that there is the narration of the devotees' experiences. Hemad Pant was to begin with proficient in the Shastras and in literature. To add to this, Sadguru Sai was pleased with him so that in an instant he illumined his intellect to create the sweet meat that is this book. Those who will experience the sweetness of this book will end the revolution of the birth-death cycle and attain everlasting wealth of moksha. Hemad Pant's language, which is sweet and succulent, has gained much by Sai's grace, and as such is the delectable combination comparable to that of a milk and sugarcane juice. Who can describe the grandeur of this book? Absolutely. They are the pearls of wisdom. They are so profound. But if you don't understand, don't go deeper in it, then there is no use. It's like you close it, you finish it, then go back again to your own world, then it has no point of having listened. But like Baba said, even if you have listened that little bit, it will purify your karma, your sins. Your heart is going to be purified, your mind is going to be purified. You don't understand what kind of benefit it gives just by listening even a little bit. There are many writers of the book, but the authority of a blessed tongue will never come to them until they get a real Sadguru who is Sri Vishnu incarnate and sustainer of this world. This is a very important thing. Not everybody, there will be many books, but not everybody has been written. See, those who have been chosen as an instrument of the divine, they are the only ones who can, give that guidance. Because like this body is mere an instrument. I don't have knowledge. It is the words of my Guru's wisdom, my Krishna Guruji's wisdom, that whatever the words has to come, it will come. Similarly, someday, I don't have to say someday my Guruji will say, I know which life of yours. No, I will be writing the autobiography of my Krishna Guruji's life. I want to share to the world how beautiful his Leelas are. He is the Lord Almighty, Lord Shri Krishna himself. So I want to share how beautiful that is, the sweet Leelas that he's performed in this world and imparted and redeemed so many in this world, his disciples and devotees and those who come and seek refuge at his lotus feet. So don't go by anybody, whatever people write. People can write through their intellect, but please understand, only the chosen one, the instrument who is chosen by the divine master, the Guru himself, only through them can these words of wisdoms can come through, not by anybody and everybody. So don't get carried away by whatever you listen and every other book that is available in the market. That is not how it is. I think we have another few more verses, not few more. We have up to 202. So I will take some more time, but I need to complete this. So kindly bear with me and apologies for delaying a bit. You may have studied the Shastras, but still without the Sadguru's grace, such a book can never be written. Please know, nobody can write his life stories. It's only Sai himself has to be the chosen one. Similarly, in Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's case, the chosen one was Yam. So he wrote about the life stories, whatever that which he is to write. So the words of only of the divine Lord Almighty. You cannot write anything on your own using your mind. And what people write using their own mind, that's just whatever they want to create. It's again it's a fiction. It's not the life story. There is no sat in that. There is no truth in that. Who can praise Shri Sai Satcharita adequately? How incomparable is the value of this book, and it is a great good fortune of the seekers that the book has an author like Hemad Pant. As long as this book remains on this earth, so long will his fame remain in this world. For Govindraya has provided a timely feast for the seekers. Blessed is this book, born out of the Sadguru's grace. The seekers will accept this book, which will remove poverty of thought. It was due to this accumulated merit of many births that Govindrao was able to serve Sai, and he enjoyed its delicious fruit in writing this book. Hemad Pant was a steadfast devotee, a poet fond of Vedantic learning and absorbed at Sadguru Sai's feet day and night. Vedanta is a profound and difficult subject, and without Guru's grace, it is difficult to write a book on Vedanta, which also has renunciation, devotion and knowledge. These are not chapters, but are as gold sockets, and in them are set by Govindraya with great effort the precious gems of stories emanating the brilliance of the significance. They're all the pearls of wisdom. Wisdom is also a very small word. They are profound truth. But how much can you go and code them, decode them? Only with the grace of your Guru can you understand the truth behind these words. So seek that grace. Dhyana Moolam, Gurur Murti. Puja Moolam, Gurur Padam. Mantra Moolam, Gurur Vakyam. Moksha Moolam, Gurur Krupam. So seek these four things. It is everything to do with your Guru. Your Guru is the doorway to God because he is the God himself. Please realize this in him. Until you don't realize this, you are not going to go anywhere. These various chapters are the fragrant flower garlands offered round Sadguru's neck by this loving child Govind with pure devotion. These chapters are pictures of gold in which the son of Raghunath, Govind, has filled the sacred Ganges water to destroy the ego of the seekers. In this book, which is the sky of a battlefield, the sword of the intellect of this son of Raghunath, has slain the demons of pride, conceit and hypocrisy to raise the victory pillars that are the chapters. I don't have to say enough, more than this. I think we have talked about this enough. Now you have to put in your efforts and go ahead. This book is an arti of 5 lights, the significance of the stories in the chapters shining out as the light of the wicks and peace and renunciation come to wave this arti around this king among the saints. This book is Maya, the bewitcher of this world whose body is adorned by ornaments. That is the meaning of the chapters like armlets, etc. And who comes with her arms, that is the chapters raised high, ready to embrace Sai, who is Brahman incarnate. Satcharit is the emperor among books, which is with its chapters as the ingenious bards or minstrels who praise the boundless splendor of his glorious faith, knowledge and Vedanta. Sai Satcharit is the market of spirituality, with each chapter as a trading place. In this, the articles of trade, that is the stories and experiences, have been carefully set out by the poet. This book is as the expansive bed of river Ganga. The arrangement of the chapter is like the neat ghats on the banks. The power of the Guru's grace being great, the stream of the nectar-sweet stories flows with tremendous force through it. This is not a book but a kalpa vriksha, which appears to be dry to the worldly people. This is a very important point. But to the seekers, it is moksha itself. Experience it for yourself. For the worldly people, this book is dry. I can recite as many times, I can explain, nothing will enter your dull brain. That is what is mentioned. The more the worldly you are, nothing is going to enter your mind. Please remember, but to the true seekers, this book, this Satcharita is moksha itself, liberation itself. Experience it for yourself. Only you can experience it from yourself. Nobody else can give you that experience. As is your faith, so are your experiences. This itself is a true memorial which destroys ignorance and sorrow of worldly life, saves us from the hell of Maya, delusion, etc. and gives us lasting peace. Govind Rao, the author, had become a black bee, hovering around the lotus feet of Sadguru Sai to taste the ever new sweet nectar. Govind Rao's surname was Dabolkar. He had learning, modesty and good conduct and was an ever alert officer in the service of the British rulers. His wife, Rukmabai, was of a good disposition, pious, a mind of virtue, a dutiful wife, and modest of speech, who had a firm faith in Sai. Originally, the ancestors of the poet belonged to Dhaboli, near Vengurla, but later shifted to the Kelva village. In the year 1859, on the 5th day of the bright half of the lunar month of Margashish, this meritorious Govind was born to Lakshmi, the wife of Raghunath. Born in the Gaud Saraswat Brahmin community with Bharajvad Gotra, he died in the year 1929 on the 9th day of the brighter half of the lunar month of Ashada. He began writing the book in 1922 in the month of the Chaitra, March, April, and completed the 52nd chapter in the month of Jeshta, May, June in the year 1929. Govind Rao had only one son and 5 daughters, of whom 4 are married. The son is also married and is studying medicine. The unmarried daughter is studying medicine too. Now I shall describe the method of Parayan and the easy way of doing a Sapta, reading the book in 7 days, which is given in the Guru Charitra and other books. Listeners may please attend carefully. Making your heart pure, start the Parayan with faith and devotion, completing the reading in 1, 2 or 3 days, which will please Shri Narayan. Or start a Sapta and you will acquire the wealth of accumulated merit. Sai will fulfill your heart's fond desire and the fear of worldly life will be destroyed. Begin reading on a Thursday after taking a bath at dawn. Sit on your seat after quickly finishing your daily rituals like Sandhya, etc. Have a large beautiful mandap covered with banana leaves, kannag leaves, cloth, etc. to decorate it. Place a stool in it and draw around it colorful variety of designs with colored powders rangoli that will please the eye. On the stool, carefully place an idol or a photograph of Sai Sadguru, bowing to him in a loving obeisance. Wrapping the book in a silk cloth and placing it in front of the Sadguru, offer puja to both, using the 5 puja articles, and then begin reading the book. For the next 8 days, strictly observe the prescribed rules of conduct, taking only milk or fruit or roasted grain, or eating nothing during the day except once, either at night or sometime during the day. Facing the east and remembering the Sadguru's form in the mind, continue reading the book happily and with a peaceful mind. 8, 8 and 7, 8, 6, 8 and 7, with such a division of chapters in that order, read for 7 days, leaving only the epitome for the 8th day. On the 8th day, after completing the vow, offer Naivedya to Sai Narayan and then serve a meal to the Brahmins, relatives and friends, giving appropriate dakshina to the Brahmins. Inviting the Vedic Brahmins at night, get the Vedas recited loudly by them, satisfying them by offering sweetened milk to drink. In the end, making obeisance at the Sadguru's feet, the Guru should be given proper dakshina. Can you see here what is being mentioned? You cannot do without giving a Guru dakshina. People just take knowledge from my Krishna Guruji but never offer dakshina. That's not correct. Here Baba is also saying, I am not saying, okay? The scripture is mentioned, it is mentioned in every scripture. Baba is saying here, how do you do the samapti? When you read something, you have to also complete it. It needs to be given due respect. Please don't think that this is just mere words. This is Baba himself. And when you revere him in that manner, you will experience him. In the end, making an obeisance at the Sadguru's feet, the Guru should be given proper dakshina, which should be sent to the treasurer of Shirdi Sansthan to add to the collection of the Sansthan. By doing so, Sai Bhagwan will be pleased and will give Pasayadan to the devotees, destroy the snake of the fear of the worldly life, and reveal the secret treasure of moksha. O listeners, you are saints, the retreat of peace and happiness. This slave prays at your feet that if this epitome is forgotten, be it so, but keep your concentration on the significance of this book. O listeners, righteous as you are the destroyer of the death himself. This Baba's Bal bows at your feet and entreats you to have mercy on this slave always. Whatever is lacking in this epitome is entirely mine. Give it to me, taking only the essence, O listeners, and feeling happy. Obeisance to Sai Shri Ganesh, son of Shiva, to Sai Brahmadev and to Sai Shri Vishnu. O Sai Shankar, I bow to you humbly. Obeisance to you, O Sai Dattatreya, to Sai Indra and to Sai the moon, to Sai Agni Narayana, I make obeisance. Obeisance to Sai Shri Vitthal, to Sai the sun, to Sai the ocean of knowledge. O Sai Shri Jnaneshwar, I bow in reverence. This epitome is a handful of flowers, that is words, as also are the series of obeisance made above, which I offer at the lotus feet of the Guru with a prayer that may Mother Sai be pleased with me. Inspired by Shri Sai Sadguru and composed by Baba's slave Bal, the 53rd chapter of Shri Sai Satcharita called the Epitome is complete here. Thank you so much for being together through this journey for the last 3 months and making it very beautiful. I am very humbled that you all have been able to partake of this knowledge. Thank you so much. Join us for prayer this afternoon. Once again, wishing you a very happy Dattatreya Jayanti. When I will begin the next satsang and what we will be starting, we'll update it on Krishna Knows. So till then, see you all. May Baba bless you all for listening and partaking of this beautiful knowledge. And it was a wonderful journey being together. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunatha Natha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum.